let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay.
So we're going to go all the way to the back. We're coming in through the showroom. We don't give factory tours, so you guys are pretty special. Look at the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Albert. Albert does all of our final setup, head tech, amazing guitar player, and does all kinds of fun stuff here. So every guitar has to go through him before it gets shipped out. That's after it's passed quality control, after it's been cleaned. Then he gives it a thorough playing, and that's it. So let's go back here and we'll see how we get to this final process. So we are about 21,000 square feet. We have right around 60 employees, and every single thing is made right here. Our fingerboards are all cut in-house. All of our wood, all of our blanks. I've just got in this shipment. I haven't even seen it yet. Some of my special flamed redwood. Some crazy, crazy stuff here. And so what you see here is this is at between 8 and 14%. So it's not ready to be used yet. 11 to 12%, that's moisture content. So we have to put it in the kiln and dry it out. So this is something unique that we do that a lot of people don't do. They will buy their wood already pre-dried. You could see some of this beautiful walnut here. Bringing in some crazy stuff. So I have to go through and grade all this. But my guys have gone through and probed it on the sides to get the moisture content. And then we're gonna kiln dry everything. So what a lot of guitar companies will do is they will pre-buy their bodies and or necks in a billet form that is already ready to use. So in other words, it's already the right thickness, already the right width. They just machine it down, where we do everything here. We're gonna turn raw lumber into a guitar. And why that is so cool is, for example, if we're gonna grab like a piece of swamp ash and I get a customer that wants a neck through, I can take a board that's narrower like this and I can cut here and then move down and cut again. I can take the same board and I can end book match it. So I'm gonna take this one and this one, I'm gonna match them up to the neck strip in the middle. The reason why that's so cool is you have the same board. Sound-wise, it's gonna sound the same. If you're getting your wood from someone already pre-cut, you might not know, if it's the same billet. So not just looks-wise, but sonically, it's gonna sound, very similar. Same with a two-piece, like a bolt-on body. You don't have to have a one-piece if it's a Kiesel. Now, not every single time that's gonna happen. We will have like one end and maybe another end that was gonna be very similar, we're gonna match up. But most of what we do is gonna be perfectly matched up like that. That does make a difference, so that's pretty cool. We did go to quarter sawn necks a few years ago, maple.
So what was the decision? Why did you do that?
The quarter sawn?
Yeah.
Strength. So if anybody that's ever played with a cardboard box, right? That's a great example. When you look at a cardboard box and we've made forts out of them and things like that, where they're corrugated, you can fold it with the corrugates pretty easily and actually get a pretty straight line. You can't fold it the opposite way. It's the same thing with a quarter sawn neck. When the quarter sawn, or when the grain, if you have your neck blank, so let's take a piece of maple here. If you have your grain running this way, all of your strength is going to be side to side. It's not going to be top to bottom. It's going to bend this way much easier. But if your grain is running this way, it's like that box. You can't fold it this way as easy. You can move it this way easier, but that's not what we're worried about. We're worried about your string tension pulling back on it, and the amount of strength increase is phenomenal. But the problem is your yield goes way down. So your yield, you end up spending about triple on each neck, but it's the right way to build an instrument. So we went to that. We didn't even increase our prices that first time we did it. We had a small increase the next, price increase that we did to kind of cover it. And I don't even think we even covered it all the way. And so we've done a lot of improvements over, the past almost decade. as we've been Kiesel. We went to Kiesel and the brand change in 2015. February 1st was our official first kind of launch of Kiesel, and we did a lot of improvements. You can see some of these guys here. You got neck through construction. So you have, I mean, look at these eyes. I mean, it literally looks like it's book match, like I was talking about. This is just, you know, a random one. This is an extra that I put through, trying to show off something really cool with the Vader. You got a customer's 7-piece here with some roasted alder body sides. You don't see that a lot, the roasted alder body sides. A very cool option. We do all of our roasting in-house. A lot of other companies will pre-buy roasted woods. Our experience with that was when we were buying pre-roasted woods, we were having trouble with a lot of chip outs and a lot of cracking. By us buying our own oven and me figuring out all of the, not just the temperature, but how long we have to let it cool down, doing a lot of experimenting, we came up with a great way of really having not just a good looking product, but a great functioning product, which is important. See some bodies here. These are getting ready to go through the time saver. There's a burl maple top and a black limba body. You got Jason Becker numbers guitar, actually a couple of Jason Becker numbers guitars. Got 2 of them here, and very different looking swamp ash. You know, you got more vertical grain here and more just kind of crazy grain. Our brand new A2, you can see a bass going through here. And what they're sitting on here, because we're going to fire up this machine, they're going to go through, get them to the proper thickness, and just give it a fine grit sand, and then they're going to go off to the next step. See Lucas, what's up, brother? Hey. Lucas is putting on some tops here, getting ready to glue these up. So he's checking the time up there. He's going to write the time down. And these are motorhome airbags, actually, believe it or not. So they'll put down about 8,000 PSI on that top. It's going to glue, depending on the time of year, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, and also depending on what type of wood. What a lot of people probably don't realize is when we're gluing up various woods, we have to use different glues based on the wood. So if you're gluing up a walnut to walnut, you're going to use a different glue than you're gluing like a maple to walnut or a maple to maple. So these are all things we've learned over the years. You know, we've been doing it so long that you have to make adjustments. It's not just, oh, here's glue, let's just put it on. There's a way to put it on, a certain amount you want to put on. You saw him stapling the top to the body, part of the body that's going to get cut off. The reason for that is when we go to clamp it, you don't want that top shifting around. So you get those staples in, very, very small staples that will later come out. You'll never see them because we're going to cut that part of the body off. But you have to do that because we work real hard to get these perfect book matches. You see Lucas right now getting ready to line the middle with a fine line pencil, mechanical pencil, just getting the center line, getting ready to glue that up, matching the center line of the actual body. And then once that's done, we're going to go over here. Sorry, we're kind of running you through like...
It's okay.
Because we don't do tours, you know. You can see some necks that just came out of the kiln. These guys will go in, and we do what we call thermal treating on all the necks. And what that is these necks are already kiln dried. They've been through that process. But once we cut them into a blank, we're going to sticker stack them. So we have these little stickers, these little pieces of wood in between, spaced out so that air can go through this whole pallet, and we're strapped down super tight. We're going to put this through a treatment process in the kiln. We have 2 kilns here. And what that's going to do is we're going to superheat them up, and we're going to slowly cool them down. What we're doing is we're stress relieving these neck blanks. So before you even place an order with us, we've already taken the 3 to 5 weeks that it takes to do this on all of our various necks. You can see single piece, quarter sawn maple, 7-piece. You got some different 7-piece here, some different 3-piece necks here. So we have to pre-build these so that we're ahead of the curve, so we're not delaying you guys when you go to place that order. Let's check out what we're running on the CNC over here. We use the Haas CNC machines. These are the latest and greatest, the best money can buy for woodworking, for what we do. Sure, you can buy a different machine that's going to be more intricate for like a heart valve or pacemaker or things like that that are millions of dollars. But these Haas super speed machines are amazing. The accuracy is 1/10,000th of an inch. To give you guys an idea, that's pulling your hair out of your head, splitting it 4 ways down the middle. That's the thickness of 1/10,000th of an inch. No mistakes, 100% accuracy every single time. What's up, RJ? So RJ is just doing some shaping. You know, the machine gets us all our final specs, and then we're gonna remove the little bit of machine marks that we have, the little tool marks that the machine will actually make. Yo, what's up, brother? How are you?
Good. It's going to the top, man.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Super nice.
So he's just checking with his fingers just to make sure the radius is perfect. And again, what's cool about our shop is the machine is getting all the final parameters, and we're just removing the little scratches, making sure everything's perfect, fitting everything up. This is actually a Sophie Lloyd model. Black Limbo body is what she likes on her guitars, and a quilted top here. And we're gonna do a deep triple step stain on this, really enhance that quilt, and then sand it back down. And we do that on every single premium top. We give it a deep triple step, just to really enhance it. We used to charge for that. We said, you know what, we don't even want to charge for it because that's the only way we want to build these. So, oh, that was a nice one. What's up, JD? JD's been with us for just over 20 years now. He runs our department back here, our whole hand sanding department, does all of our training. He's also the only one that works on the K-Series guitars, the special editions, the HKs and the K-Series, and then also the Kiesel editions. JD does all of the shaping, gives it to me. I do the final finish work on it, and then when they're primed, he goes back through and does all the final primer sanding, and then it go off to the final paint department.
I love that you guys use the Evo Gold frets.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, that's something that's been discontinued from Jescar.
Yeah.
I wish that it wasn't discontinued, but that's just how it goes sometimes. But a beautiful Royal Ebony fingerboard, Royal Ebony head plate, Buckeye burl top, walnut body and neck, 5-piece action with some maple stripes down it. And that's our Aries neck through.
So you do quarter sawn. Oh, you do quarter sawn even when you do the multi-laminate necks?
Everything is quarter sawn. Yeah, every single time it's a quarter sawn neck. The only exception was when we were doing bird's eye necks, those can't be quarter sawn because the eyes will remove. We don't offer bird's eye necks anymore. We were having trouble getting them, so we don't offer them. So every single neck, regardless of how many laminate stripes, whether it's single up to 7, they're all gonna be quarter sawn. The other trick that we do when we do the multi-lams, you'll see some companies, JD, can I borrow that real quick? I'm sorry. You'll see some companies laminate clear out here, and they'll do like 11, 15, 17 piece. You have to be very careful. We did a lot of experimenting, and when we got the laminates too wide and too many, the neck sounded very sterile. So what we do is we keep all of our laminates in the very, very center, whether it's a single piece, a 5-piece, or a 7-piece, it's all in the same size area. That gives you enough single piece on each side to actually have some resonance and some warmth to the neck. So you can actually kill some of that as you go through the extra laminates.
I love carbon fiber necks, but I find they're sterile. You think it's the same reason it's too stiff and it just doesn't give?
I think what it does is it slows down the vibrations going across into the body wings. And that's just, it's too much of a problem. So although it looks really cool and it could be an option we could charge more money for, it's not going to give the customer what they want. And so the furthest we'll go is 7-piece, and we keep within that kind of that 1/3 center section. And it really, the necks sound amazing, and that's super important is to, you know, really keep those kind of things in mind. You can see a beautiful flame koa with the EVO gold inlays on that. This is from that Aries run, and then a flame koa back of the neck. It hasn't been oiled or sanded. This is gonna pop like
yeah,
crazy.
but it's popping now even.
Oh yeah, you get that thing wet, put some finish on there, some oil. It's going to be an amazing, amazing neck. And that's what's cool about us. You know, for those of you guys that don't know what we do, we go from mild to wild. I mean, pretty much whatever you can think of, we can really do. So you're putting a level on there, making sure everything's perfect before we start taking a look at any fret work that needs to be done. See this one here.
Oh wow.
Beautiful metal flake infused. That's a crescent. Buckeye top. So I do all the metal flakes myself, metal flake infused like that. Nick's just getting going on this guy, it looks like. So when we're working on the frets, at this point, once the frets have been put in, that means the fretboard's already been radiused. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hand radius every single neck and then press the frets in one at a time. You'll see some companies you go through and they have a big press, they pull down and it's doing all 24 or 22 or however many frets the neck is getting. The problem is you're gonna have flex out at the end. So we do them one at a time. Just to pay attention, make sure every fret gets perfectly seated. And then it's so important to be constantly making sure your fretboard is level. So he's got the truss rod wrench in there, making sure everything's perfect before he starts doing all the work. A lot of guys will ask us about a Plek machine and why don't we use that. Plek machines are great for taking an imperfect neck and making them perfect. They're grinding away precious fret material, which you don't want to do because as you're playing, you have high and low spots in an imperfect neck. Your fingers are going to drag on some areas and they're not. On others, they're going to actually come in contact with the fretboard. So the neck's going to not play the same. Yes, you're not going to have high spots and low spots, but at the sacrifice of grinding down your frets. So we get the fretboard perfectly even, press the frets in, and then we don't grind away fret material. So it takes a long time to do this. You know, we're spending, by the time we pre-radius the neck, put the frets in, do all the fret work, we're a little over 2 hours every single neck.
Do you glue the frets in?
It depends. So if we are using bird's eye maple, usually we're okay. Flame maple, we do need to put some fret hardener or some wood hardener in there.
Okay.
But no, we do not glue anything else in.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
we don't need to with the tangs that the Jesscar wire has. It's all German-made wire. We don't have any unseating problems. And that comes from knowing what saw blade size for each type of wood to use. It changes. So certain woods that are harder, we have to open it up a little more. Woods that are softer, we have a narrower saw blade to cut our fret slots. These are all things that you learn doing this for so many years, you know. You wouldn't know this if you're doing this 10 years. That's not long enough to learn all this, you know, and doing 4,000 guitars a year. Doing the final steel wool, getting everything all perfect once it's all the frets have all the sharp ends and edges are gone. Everything's crowned and radius properly. Just going through and getting that all high polished. We're gonna sneak by behind you. What's up, dude? How are you? So this is good timing on this. It's good to show off like a white guitar. I want you to see that orange peel in there. So very, very little bit of orange peel. This hasn't been sanded or buffed at all. So we're gonna sand this guy down to 1,000 grit. And then we're gonna high polish it 4 times, 4 different wheels. So what we are shooting for is we want our guitars to look like a Ferrari, not a Porsche. Sorry, Porsche fans. The finish on a Porsche is not high enough quality to be a Kiesel. So the Ferrari level of finish is what we want, and even surpassing that is what we're doing. I mean, this sanding wheel is so fine. P1000, feel that with your finger.
Oh yeah.
That's the grit. So he's removing all of that orange peel, and then it's going to get high polished. So this wheel is going to take out those scratches. This wheel takes those scratches out. This set of wheels and this set of wheels are identical. And then we have our high polish wheels. So this wheel is going to take out our second wheel, and this is the final polish. Feel how soft that is.
Oh yeah.
It's like a diaper almost.
Yeah.
You know, just like so smooth. Just to get that mirror image like finish. Hey Pedro, can I see that real quick? Thank you, sir. So this isn't done, but you can see all of the all of the orange peel's gone. And so now what we're doing is trying to get the high polish out. So he's going through the areas to get rid of the previous wheel scratches. So this hasn't been done yet, the front. And buffing is a very hard job. You have to be very careful. You can lose the guitar into the wall. We lose about 3 or 4 a year, which is, 1 in 1,000.
That's actually pretty good.
It's very good.
So that leads me to a question. So how long do they do? What's the average time frame buffing a body? How long do they usually take?
It totally depends on the wood and the finish. Certain finishes are going to be a little harder to sand. Also, different constructions. Bolt-ons are going to be easier than a neck through. Headstock guitars that have a painted back of the neck are going to take longer than a non-painted back of the neck or a headless. But these guys, by the time they sand a guitar, you're looking at about an hour to an hour and a half to color sand a guitar. And then buffing can take another hour, hour and a half. It just really depends. So up to 3 hours per guitar.
So for reference, that's longer than most factories.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're spending more time.
We are.
Because time is money.
Time is money, but the thing is you're only as good as your last step, right? And so if we cut this step here, the product's not going to be as good. And we've been independently tested as the highest quality, clearest, most transparent finish in the guitar industry. And that was before we made a lot of changes. We're actually, our newest gloss finishes we've been doing it this way for almost a year now. They are the smoothest. It's actually crazy because I've almost dropped guitars lately with our latest gloss finishes. They are so slippery because they're harder and more slick. We are actually going to be starting to charge a premium for gloss. It will not be a free finish anymore. So that's something coming. We've really made some improvements even in the last 6 months on our finishes. Yeah, even when you don't think you can get better, there's always room for improvement. So we're always striving to be better. So once they're done here, they'll go into the fret department. That's when they're doing the fretting. And then bodies will come here. Necks will be put down over there. They get paired together, or if it's a neck through, obviously it's already ready to go. Like for example, this is kind of a crazy looking one.
Wow.
You got a green color treated board, which my daughter is now doing a lot of these. So she would have done this one. Got a 7-piece neck, got a beautiful green metal flake finish going with our brand new A2 bass with the triple stack. They're like a single coil. They have a single coil sound, but they actually humbuck. There are tritium pickups. Let's see what we got here. Look at that beautiful Poplar Burl A2. We do a lot of A2s. The Aries was our most popular, and we'll see if the A2 totally takes over or not, but that's kind of our latest and greatest. So these ones here will come here, they'll get bolted together, and then they'll be put through final assembly. Our final assembly, we do things quite a bit different than most custom shops. This is perfect. Look at that. So you can see the copper foil going in. A lot of companies will paint in the copper, and that's a lot lower cost, a lot faster process. This you can actually get cut. How many times have you been cut?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Probably not anymore. I mean,
Not
being
anymore.
an expert.
Yeah, but at the beginning.
Yeah, but you can see how clean. I mean, she didn't know we were coming through. You could see that, like how perfect that is. And notice the brass inserts. Those of you guys have been on tour, or even you like to tinker and you want to take your back plate on and off, change pickups, check it out, redo soldering. You guys have all probably experienced wood screws stripping out, shoving toothpicks in there. With the brass machine inserts, these are knurled, and they have a little, I don't know how good your camera will catch this, but you can see how it's split in the middle, and because it's knurled, it pushes out as we put the screw in there. And so it's actually a machine screw that goes in there. You could take your backplate on and off infinite. It's not gonna strip out. And that's just something we do here that just gives us that extra level of quality down the road. It's things that people don't always see, and you don't pay more for this. This is on our entry level pricing, all the way to the most expensive guitars. And when I say entry level, these are not entry level guitars, it's just our lower priced models like the Delos. Here's a California single cut, beautiful metal flake finish. And so we are the mild to wild, I feel like, experts, you know, from very classy, you know, jazz style instrument or SH550. And then you go right on down to something more compact. We make this down to a 24 3/4 or 25 1/2. This is our Leia headless. We just do so much stuff. Or even if there's a color we don't offer that you want, like this is a special Pantone color. So the customer that ordered it, you know, looked up the Pantone. So it's Pantone 165C Magneto Orange. And that's what this customer wanted. You know, ordered this custom color. I can't see the order date, but our estimated completion date is 10/2. So we're a little late on this, but we're in final, getting ready to put the bridge on there. And here we have a custom colored instrument, bridge pickup only.
Oh, wow.
So this is my guitar. They surprised me with this. I'd been telling them I wanted something that looked like Predator Vision. I loved that movie Predator growing up as a kid. And Casey, our head painter, came up with this for me. And so it's just waiting for me to figure out what color pickups. I think I'm going to go Kiesel Racing Green and maybe that orange just to do something kind of staggered.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's one waiting for me. So I'll have an NGD pretty soon. Let's see some of the, here's a Kiesel edition, or not Kiesel edition, K-Series, excuse me. But master grade Koa top, as good as it gets, you know, probably a K-top, in fact. Beautiful roasted bird's eye. Look at that. Gold, black gold, triple stacked logo. Just something really cool. You know, flame neck with walnut stripes. And I think it's waiting for Koa pickups from me. And this one's waiting, I know, for quilted pickups from me. And this is a special magenta candy finish. So this is a finish that I did for a customer. And this one's super late, 411. So sometimes when you guys are getting some real crazy stuff, they do take a lot longer. I do work on everything that I tell you guys I'm going to work on. Sometimes they're waiting for me, but look at how gorgeous that is. Going from the K-top quilt, little thin trans black burst, getting back into that binding effect, purple heart stripe, and then the blacked out ash sides. Just an amazing looking instrument.
When it comes to wood, I always think of you guys as quilt tops, because your quilt tops seem to always be next level. Like your flame's gorgeous, everything's gorgeous, but quilts, your quilt tops always seem to be next level.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we do our best. I mean, when the wood comes in, what will happen is our head foreman, he's been here over 40 years, he goes through the wood and he pulls aside anything that he thinks is extra nice, basically, puts that in a pile. And then the stuff that's not high enough grade for what we do, that gets returned and sent to another guitar company. They can use it on something. And then I go through the stuff that's extra nice and I regrade it. Sometimes he puts a piece there and I'm like, it's still not good enough for a customer to have me pick it out, so I give it back to him. And anytime I have a question, is this good enough? It always goes down. So if I'm like, is this a 7A? That's a 5A. I cut out 6A. I used to have 6A. You can see in here just, you know, the Oaks Grigsby 5-way switch, the good Bourne's pots, just how clean everything is. Oh, look at that. That's really cool. A little solo, 3 humbucker, little pink, and that's actually an extra. Sometimes we'll be building guitars and an option could get missed and we go, oh, we ran this wrong, and so we'll turn it into extra. That happens pretty often, and then we'll do whatever color we want. We'll say, see Casey for paint job, you know, our head painter. Chris is working on this, just doing some fret work over here. And then once everything's done, let me see if what these guys have down here. More guitars come down here. When is this video posting, do you know? Okay.
Today, tomorrow, whenever you say.
Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't...
Oh, wow.
This is pretty cool, this purple. And we won't need, like, I'm fine with you not editing anything. Like, it's whatever you want to do. You do the splatters. These are super cool. So we do splatters. We let customers pick up the 3 colors, the splatter on top of a base color. Customers send in their own pickups. That's something we do. They send in their own Fishmans. Just a really cool looking guitar. What color is that? Classic white. That classic white looks so good on the pink. I would have never thought that. And throwing the Fishman rechargeable battery pack on there. All right. This one's really cool. So you guys all know, if you guys know me, you guys know I love the Deftones. This is for Steph, Mr. Carpenter himself. You guys might have seen the announcement that Steph started playing our guitars. He is still endorsing ESP, but he is playing our guitars as well. He's been doing this such a long time. We've been really good friends for a while now, and he was like, look, I want to play your guitars. So we built him, several guitars over the past few years, and when we built him the first all white Vader, which these have to come off because that's not the white hardware. So I got to tell these guys it's supposed to get the white hardware. So we'll have to stop these guys from working on this. I'll take it into my office after this. This guitar is going to be all white. That's what Steph wanted. Well, when we did the guitar, we used blue luminlay material. Well, Fishman for his pickup uses green. So I reached out to Fishman and said, yo guys, can you build me some pickups that are blue? Nope. So we're rebuilding his guitars, not because Steph asked, because my OCD won't let these be blue and those be green. It looks weird. So I rebuilt both of his guitars, the black one and now the white one with green. We ordered special luminlay material and special green luminlay side dots to match the green pickups for him. Because that's how it should be. He's like, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not okay, dude. So anyway, he'll be coming down at some point to pick these up, probably in the next couple weeks.
Is this painted? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
You paint the fretboard?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's a pain in the ass. It is, but Steph wanted an all-white guitar with just all-white hardware, and we did it for him. That's what you do. People like that you're excited to work with. This is kind of cool, just primer gray with Kiesel Racing green and black Richlight board. So pretty cool. We do build all of our own pickups in-house. We won't be able to video that area. I'll show you, I'll walk you through. Sure. The reason why we can't video that area is we have a lot of stuff, recipes posted on the wall.
Sure.
So we'll walk through here, and then that'll probably conclude this Flock. Flock will look at every single build. So what he's doing, he's going through, this is for a gentleman named Richard, and he's noting all of the options, making sure we did it. People that walk through our shop, they go, other guitar builders and manufacturing people, they go, how do you do this? How do you give all these options and not screw it up? Well, the answer is sometimes we do screw it up. It's pretty rare now. It's been getting a lot better. And look at this. You got an orange top guitar, a blue fretboard, antique ash body, 5-piece neck, satin finished on the back. It's just so many options on this. That's crazy. Maybe he's a sports fan and those are the 2 sports team colors. I don't know. But we allow so much. And the diversity that we have, people always ask, how do you do this? And it's by having people paying attention. And then at the end, this is a newer thing that we've been doing now for about 3 years now, is really focusing on making sure all the options are on there at the end, taking the time, getting everything cleaned perfectly. Everything's always been left playing good, but this is something that we've really strived for. And instead of the customer letting us know we missed something, we put Flock in place here, which he's got a lot of experience in the industry. He's been with us now for 15 years?
Yeah, coming up, yeah. And there's stuff like when I'm going through these that on paper you might know might not work well together.
Yeah.
And sometimes we got to do the right thing and call our customer and say, hey, look like on paper this could go through, but once it hit even me, let's make it right, and then call them and give them an option, and then they're happy that we let them know. but it's better to catch it than be surprised that
Yeah.
you're getting something different than you think.
Yeah, we don't want that call, and so he's really helped out, and then we've really stepped up in our customer service department. But you just see like our builds, I mean, look at that light purple against the white, just classy, but on a very aggressive looking guitar, a multi-scale 7-string guitar, roasted neck. You go from that, here's an Aries that was an A2, the other model. It's very clean looking. We do basses, of course. Got like a very good surf vibe to it, but a multi-scale. Let's skip around here. Look at this, another A2, that raw tone look. I mean, that's just like a metal machine right there. Love the way that looks. I shouldn't skip this one. This is pretty badass. Look at that.
Yeah, it's another unique thing you guys doing, painting the pickups.
Yeah, that's a newer thing, just trying to really give people a way to make it theirs. I mean, you look at these other companies and what they do some great stuff, but to get something like that, you have to be like a Jeff Loomis or a Greg Howe or whoever name you want to attach to it to get something custom. Well, you're special, you can get whatever you want, right? We'll build you your own signature model. That's where we're different. And in such a quick time frame, 8 to 14 weeks in most cases. Some cases they'll go longer. The crazy stuff that I work on, I am still just one guy and I do all my own work and pick out a lot of tops here. And I end up working on, I would say total about 20% of the guitars that come through here. I do something with it, whether it's picking out a top, it's doing fill in the blank, custom finish, it's whatever the case may be. And, I go out of town and I do stuff too and do a lot of racing. And so sometimes my builds will take a little longer. But these are builds that are getting ready to go out today. And, Flock will go through them. And unless everything's good on them, they don't go out. And they'll go back through. They'll get checked out by our guys. That's cool, and we do other brand pickups. So if someone wants to send in their own brand pickup, it's not a problem. In most cases, we can accommodate all of them. In most cases, we can accommodate them. We can't accommodate every single brand. Sometimes physically they're too big, or we might not have the right size route. But if we can, it's something we do offer. That's just a really cool look. I'm sure you probably like this one.
Oh yeah, love it. Love the color too.
But yeah, and we do left-handed too. Kind of a little bit of everything, really. And love what we do. My grandfather started the company back in 1946, and my dad took it over, the guitar division, in 1970. They were actually going to stop making guitars, and my dad was 20, took that over. And, we're father and son operation here. Kind of took over the design work in 2012, and both of my kids are working here. So, I'm third generation. They're looking to be fourth. So it's just an amazing time. We have a great time, and love that family vibe,
I'd like to ask you about your pickups because, your company started as a pickup company.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
1946,
Yeah.
right? And I really like your pickups. Especially I like the combination I use is the lithium in the bridge and beryllium in the neck.
Yeah.
Right? I like the combination. And I find that, you like you said, you have the option, you'll put other brand pickups in your guitars, but I'd like to know, just curious, because when I think of your pickups, I think of like a lot of the good companies out there that spend time, kind of making the pickups, match the guitars,
Yeah.
So like any thought process in that would be awesome. Like,
Yeah, so what happened, years ago, Grandpa started the company, and he had, a lot of influence on how the pickup sounded because he was a professional guitar player. And he was on the radio all the time, and so he was the only one out of our whole family that was actually a professional musician. I was in a band and stuff too back in the day, but obviously I didn't make a living at it. My grandfather was able to make a living at it. So he started winding his own pickups and really knew, he had a good ear, knew what to go after. My dad played in bands all through, high school and growing up. I think they played a lot of their dances and stuff and played some gigs and everything, and got married young and took over the business. And so there's always been a good ear for different sounds. And So my dad had this idea of doing multiple pole pieces so that when you would do bends, it wouldn't get the drop off and things like that. And we took our pickups kind of to the next level, getting back to our roots, really when we were going back to the Kiesel name. So in 2014, we invested into a lot of molds and really rebranded our guitars through the Kiesel name and came up with sounds that you would only get if you popped in a $400 set of pickups. Previously, to be honest, Lundgren made some of the best sounding pickups I had ever heard. And you look at those, are $200, $250 a pickup. And so just listening to those and going, well, why can't we make a pickup that sounds like this? And so the lithiums were born. And we spent so much time. I kept the box for the longest time. I had a box about this big around and about that tall, reject pickups that didn't make it, all the different wines. And so people like to think of pickups like black magic. It's really not. It's math. It's winding, wire type, magnet, and what type of pole piece. It's math. They're very easy to do. And so we spent a lot of time. We got it right. I feel like we got it right. And I still think our lithium pickups are the best sounding pickups out there. It's my personal opinion. Some people like the beryllium in the neck, which I totally see. It's got that warmer sound, and it's going to give you a little more versatility. And then we have, the Empyrean, and you could put in the neck that Scott Carstairs plays, a little more aggressive. And then going in the bridge, we have beryllium to calm it down. And then we also have the thorium, as well as the Holdsworth pickups, the Frankembali pickup. So we're very versatile on pickups, and I feel like our sound has come a long way. And what I wanted to make sure the clientele could do is when they bought a guitar from us, it didn't matter that the pickups are costing us more to us. They're buying a guitar. Who cares if these pickups are using more expensive components and it's costing us more? You shouldn't have to feel like you need to swap your pickups out. And so that was one of the first things I wanted to tackle, was just giving customers more options, more choices, and the ability to not have to swap pickups out. And then changing out things, like the 5-way switch, going to the Bourne's pots, just doing things that are, now we're using a Switchcraft jack, and just doing things in the guitar that you don't need to hot rod them. I want them to come to you guys. You don't have to do anything. I don't even want you to have to do a truss rod adjustment. That's why we started doing the carbon fiber rods in the necks. I would sit there, and play some of my guitars, and I'm having to do neck adjustments before the carbon fiber rods. And it's like, you've worked all day long. You don't want to adjust your guitar. You just want to pick it up. You want your action slam. I want my action slammed down. I don't want to adjust anything. I want it to play perfect every time. And we invested a lot of money and did carbon fiber rods standard. And what a lot of customers probably don't understand, I could buy a carbon fiber rod that looks just like the ones I use now for probably $1 or $2. I could snap it right in half like that. It would do nothing to add strength. I don't know what these other companies are putting in. Brandon, do you want to grab one of those rods while I'm talking about them? I'll show you guys. You guys have probably seen this. But the rods we put in, they are crazy strong. I'm even going to flip the camera around, and you're going to try to break this thing.
Oh, nice.
But it's really trying to do the best we can in all avenues of what we do. And the neck is so important, whether it's the thermal treating, the quarter sawn, the carbon fiber rods, the 2-way truss rod. And so how our system works is people will ask all the time, well, if the neck is so strong, how do I do an adjustment? Well, when you adjust that truss rod, so let's say we have this guitar here, take the truss rod cover off here, you do the adjustment. The truss rod, you're going to want to push back this way to add a little bit of bow, and those rods are in here along the length. They're going to try to keep the guitar from moving. Well, if they keep them from moving and we push down, they're pushing back, we're locking that neck in one spot. You grab the bass one. So we got a super, super long one. So one that's going to go in a bass. The guitars are a lot shorter. So, you grab this guy and you're cranking on it. You can't move it. Now, if I went this way, that's not the way they go. I can move it actually a decent amount, but because of the rectangular shape, this is the way they go in. They go in like that. And you try to crank on that thing, you can't hardly get it to bend, and I'm going at it. Oh, come on. and you can't get it to move. So these are expensive carbon fiber rods, and we put them in everything standard. You don't have to ask for this. You don't get, there's no option, not like some $200 upcharge. This is every neck. You buy a guitar from us for $1,400, or you buy one for $14,000, they're getting these same rods in every single one. A lot of companies, since we've made this standard, have done things like stainless steel fret standard. They've done some sort of glow-in-the-dark side dot standard. They've done some sort of carbon fiber standard. I don't know what they're using. I know what we're using, and we're using the best money can buy. We're using Jescar fret wire. We're using Lumen Lace Super Blue side dots, the best, the brightest, the longest lasting, and we're using the highest strength carbon fiber that money can buy. I don't know what the other guys use, right? They can use something that looks the same, they do a fancy video, but the proof is in the pudding, and the product just is rock solid.
Well, a lot of companies, what they do is, like when you were showing the quarters on necks, they're going to flats on, and they use the carbon fiber to essentially force that neck to be as rigid as the, and so to the point where I've seen a lot of companies are, when I've asked other companies a lot of times about either the quarter-sawn neck using a quarter-sawn, they say, well, you don't need quarter-sawn if you're using the carbon fiber
You still
rods.
need it. Yeah, you still need it.
And vice versa. I've seen it where they go, well, if you're going to use quarter-sawn, you know what I mean? You don't need the carbon fiber rods. And so it was really interesting to see that you're using both.
Yeah, and the big reason for that, and I can tell you why you need both. So what is this not going to do? This doesn't care what humidity is. Doesn't care the moisture, doesn't care the temperature. It's going to stay straight. They're made in an autoclave, which means they've removed any moisture, and they've treated these with heat and pulled all the air out to get it as strong and as light as possible. So these things don't care if it's moist, they don't care if it's cold, they don't care if it's hot. So that is your, I'm touring, you don't want the thing to move. What does the neck do? The neck still cares. So if you have a neck that's quarter sawn, it's a lot stronger than a flat sawn neck. That's what's going to want to move when you're touring. If you have a flat sawn neck, it's still going to want to move. You have these that are going to help, for sure. But if that neck still wants to move, you're still going to be doing adjustments, where if you have a quarter sawn neck and you have the strongest carbon fiber you can, you're going to have a better neck. There's no reason not to do both. I would ask, why not? Oh, I can tell you why. Because it's expensive. That's why you don't do both. Well, for us, we look at our standard guitars. We want them to be pro level. We don't want a pro level and an entry level. So you look at like our A2 model, $1,500. You can go buy a plain one stripped down. You're still going to get the carbon fiber. You're still going to get the stainless frets, the Lumen Lace side dots, the great Kiesel pickups, quarter sawn necks, all of that. You go play a world tour, no problem. The rest is eye candy, right? I mean, it makes the guitar prettier to some people. It can make it lighter. You can do things that make them lighter, heavier, sound different, of course. But at the end of the day, everyone working on the guitars, they don't care if it's $1,500 or $15,000. It doesn't matter to them. They're going to put the same effort into every guitar. Our name's on it. It's important to us that we put the same effort into every single model.
That's awesome. Okay, can I try and break it now?
Yes. All right, here we go.
All right.
Like fun time.
So these go
Yes.
go in like this. So we want to push
Correct.
against.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
What's funny is I thought it would be hard, but it feels like, I mean, here's what's cool. It's as hard as steel, but it's flexing just a little bit.
Yeah, it gives.
And that's probably why it's good in the neck, right?
That's
Because
right.
if it wasn't flexing, then you would.
Carbon fiber will have some flex to it, where steel would be heavy and not nearly as strong.
That's awesome.
Yeah, steel is not nearly as strong as that. And so we get people that are pretty blown away. I mean, we don't give tours here, but when people do check these out, they can't believe at how strong they are. And again, I could buy the same thing for probably even under $1, and it wouldn't do anything. What would it be? It would be a sales gimmick. It would be a combat the other guy type of thing. we're the ones that started doing this. Not saying we invented this or anything, but we're the ones that made it standard at a crazy affordable rate.
Yeah.
And other people would do this at like a $5,000 and up. It doesn't matter to us. We want it right. We want it the best. And that's just how you evolve. That's how you get better. That's how you better the brand. You better the name. You start doing things, and just because, you know. And I remember my dad was like, you know what that's going to cost us? And I'm like, yeah. But you know what's going to happen is everybody's going to go, wow, these necks are amazing. I can feel the difference. I get it now. And they went standard and everything. I want to say that was either 15 or 16. We put them standard and everything.
And you even do it in the roasted maple necks too, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
Every single thing. You cannot buy a neck from us without those. And we've done testing. We've done blind testing with some of our big name artists, and they've all picked the ones with the carbon fiber, including Devin. Devin was like, hey, I want to make sure, you know, Devin Townsend's been playing Kiesel now and announced that alongside his Framuses. But he was wary, like, oh, is this going to, loves them.
And he's doing a headless with you guys? Is that a headless guitar?
He's got a headless Holdsworth, an HH that we customized for him and put his some of his pickups in. And he's got a couple guitars with our pickups. He loves them too.
I'm just curious. This is a good QA, a little quick QA at the
Yeah.
end. Your headless. I look at you guys as the dominant force in headless guitars right now. I mean, if anyone's trying to get into the market, they're just copying what you're doing, because you did it fast. You ramped it up fast. I mean, it was like there was a headless, and there was another one, then another one, and it almost like felt like every year for the last 6-7 years since 2015, like it's just been headless guitars. So obviously there's a market for it, right? So do you know percentage wise, what is it? Is it a good percentage?
I
Is it
don't.
half? Is it
I
quarter?
don't know, to be honest. I mean, if we just looked here, you have that whole cart of 6 has headstocks. You have 2 here with headstocks and 4 without. 40%? I mean, out of 10 guitars? I honestly don't know. The reason why I don't know is because we sell direct, we're building what the customer wants. We're not a distributor, or we're not selling to distribution, so we don't have to know what the market is going to buy to set them up. So we don't really need to know. And I've had different people over the years. In fact, Ned Steinberger was like, how many headlesses are you selling? I'm like, I don't know. He didn't believe me. And I'm like, I don't know. And I explained to him, he's like, I never thought about it that way. We don't need to know. We build what the customer orders. We try to guide them, whether they use our online tool. We have a lot of descriptions we've been adding to that. Or they call in. We try to guide the customer into a way that's going to build the guitar the way they want. And maybe even make some recommendations or suggestions to them, but we just build what they want.
I also noticed, like with the artists, I noticed a lot of artists that have signature guitars with other brands.
Mm-hmm.
They'll play your headless that, and I find in my Kiesel collection, my headless is like a very special guitar, because it's like I feel like that's my if I go somewhere and I need to not worry, that's what I grab. Yeah. And deep down, I want to convert. Like I want to go 100% just be headless, because it's troubleless, it sounds great, it feels great, but there's just something old school in me, like I just like the headstock.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat, and that's how the Vader was really created. It was, I had a DC that I had for myself, and it was tung oil, and I started cutting it down, and I ordered a hip shot system, and I put it on there. And so I cut it down to make a smaller guitar so I could sit on the couch, right? I'm sitting there with my wife, and the great thing about it is the way it would balance on my leg. It's not sticking way out. I can sit there and play, put my arm around her or whatever, go back to play, I could hang out for 2 hours with this lightweight small guitar on my lap that looked cool, and it felt good on my lap. And that's how it became a thing. It was like, well, shit, this thing looks really cool. What are we going to name it? And so I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and so I named it the Vader, and I actually registered it. Believe it or not, Disney did not have Vader trademarked for musical instruments, so I do. So yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just kind of like a little tidbit behind the scenes. But for all the headlesses that we have, if you're going to sit on the couch and play, I think it's the most comfortable. You know, with it being a neck through and just the way it sits in your lap naturally, I really like the guitar a lot. And that's how a lot of our designs, you know, come through, is like they're so comfortable to play. And then you make them look cool too, you know, that, or at least I think they look cool. Not everybody's going to like our styling, and that's okay. We do have a lot though. We have a lot to pick from, you know, whether it's headless or headstock, you know, traditional to modern. We got a lot going on, I guess.
Okay. So we're good?
I think we're good.
Yeah, this was
we're
good. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to do some lunch and hang out and have some fun. And
well, this is an impressive. I'm sure, like I said, you touched on it a couple times. You hear it all the time. Logistically, this is a nightmare.
we didn't see the paint department. We're not done.
Oh, yeah,
Come
let's
on.
do that. Logistically, this is...
Yeah, this is a lot.
This is a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, you can see, you know, stuff in the works here. These ones are all primed, and they're getting ready for color. So that's our primer racks. And then we have these various racks we use to stage things, to hang things. And see, these guys here have color, and they're waiting to be prepped for top coat. And then, let's see, we'll go in this way. We're going to give you guys the royal treatment. These ones here are prepped for top coat. See that? It's pretty cool. You know, someone wanted that. And
that's awesome.
We'll do some different stuff for people. I was telling you guys about splatters. These are really dull right now because they've been sanded down to make them smooth so we can re-clear them. This is a Jason Becker numbers guitar. It's been splattered with the colors we offer, or the colors the pickups are. So how cool is that, right? The yellow, the green, the pink, the red, and the blue. So it'll match our logo, match the pickups. And that was something Casey thought of. Yeah, actually, let me grab this isn't that particular neck for it, but, and keep in mind that thing is a little dull because of the, it's been color sanded, but you know, you could see that.
Oh,
just
wow.
Really cool looking.
Is that going to be a limited run, or is that somebody who ordered that?
No,
or?
Casey just, sometimes our painter will think of something, or I'll think of something. Hey, let's do this. And you throw that out there, you give someone a cool idea, and then maybe it sells that particular one and sells 10 more. You never know. But it's a Vader with a poplar top, and it's going trans white. This will be a cool looking one. And so what we'll do is these ones are all getting ready for primer. Primer's done in the morning. We've already primed. We can still open this up. Grab this one off of here. It's dry enough. And so I just grabbed a random guitar. Okay. I'm going to hold this up. And you can see how smooth that is for primer. Keep in mind, the primer process is to fill any voids or holes or anything in the wood. And beautiful black limba on a solo. And so we'll sand that down, and if it gets a color, it'll get colored next. But if it doesn't, then it'll go top coat. And so we do all of our primer first thing in the morning, and then these primers will get wheeled out. Those get sanded first thing tomorrow, one day later. So once the primers get wheeled out, the clear rack will go in there. And so these big metal ones, the big steel ones, hold 18. And the smaller aluminum ones are what we clear off of, and those ones hold 10. So we're going to wheel in 20 clears, and those get cleared at the very end of the day. Why do you think we do it at the end of the day?
I don't know.
Because no one's moving around. Less dust, less chance of a contamination problem. So we spray those very end of the day. We let them cure in there, and then we wheel them out here, turn the heater on, shut the door, and we heat them up overnight. And those sit for 2 additional days before we color sand and buff them, making sure they're perfectly hard and we don't overheat the product when we're buffing it out. And then we have our mixing room. Everything's nicely labeled. And then we got Casey is our head painter. He paints every single guitar. A lot of times he'll have notes from the sales guys. So you can see his guitar on the right on that little spindle system. So he might be looking through his phone, looking for color codes or notes from a particular customer, and does all of the painting here. And so this is all a clean environment. So when they come in here, they change, and then they go into their booths, which have, you know, they're pulling a lot of air. In fact,
Yeah, I can feel it here. From here, I can feel it sucking the air in from the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Casey's attention. I don't know if this guy's such a hard worker. He's amazing, amazing guy.
So I would imagine that filter right there, that's the thing sucking the air into that.
Yes, so the clean air comes down, goes across the booth, and it gets sucked out. We'll go in there here in a second. I just want to grab his attention before I just walk in there and scare him. Maybe not. We'll wait till he's done. So you can video him shooting that. So our goal is 20 a day in top or in color, because what'll happen is sometimes there's multiple days for a guitar. So we don't ship 20 a day. You know, we're not shipping 100 a week. There are some weeks we do ship 100 or maybe even 110. But you know, our goal always is to, you know, try to get out. We get out at least 80 every single week.
So, because you're doing so many different paint, I mean, not colors, but types. You know, the metallic paint, the flake paint, the stains. You know, or the translucents,
The crackles.
the crackles.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Swirls.
I mean, that's another obstacle you have. You can't just have the average paint guy working here.
Nope.
Because he's got to know how to shoot all those paints.
That's right.
You know what I mean? When I see other factories, one of the things that's nice is they shoot, you know, 4 different kinds of color for a period of time, and so that's a great way to train the new guy.
Oh yeah.
Because he's going to do 50.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of the hours training, right? After he's done 50 surf green guitars, he's got a little sense of how to shoot.
Absolutely.
You know, the opaque, but you know, flake is a different animal.
Everything is, and we've had to really learn a lot of things. I mean, there was the way we do our crackles. Let's go in here. We're gonna enter.
Yeah, it's like a vortex.
Hi. So you can see this. It's going to stick to the wall because it's pulling all the air across. So the guitars are over there. We can't contaminate them. Like it's not going to go over there. We're safe. The clean air is coming in here, going down and going right into this. What's up, buddy? How are you? Good. Doing good.
Going.
Yes. Phil, that's Casey.
And Casey. Sir.
Just wanted him to kind of feel what our paint booth is like. And so the floor will get peeled, the walls will get peeled. We fully douche this thing every so often, and every time we do metal flake, it has to all get douched.
Yeah, because it's like a strip club. It's like flake everywhere, right?
The herpes, man. Yeah, it's gonna come back, buddy.
Yeah.
Once you got it in there, this is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell my wife, I'm like, I was just working on a metal flake guitar, I promise. That's not someone's glitter.
Yeah. Well, I've seen, especially the smaller to mid-sized shops, a lot of them won't do flake.
Yeah.
Because the cleanup is just
Cleanup's crazy.
Yeah, it's
super
not cost
crazy.
effective. And that's one thing I always like to point out, because when you go on your menu, I think if you don't know, you see $600 upcharge for like a heavy flake or something like that, and they don't understand
The amount of work.
To do just that type
it's the amount of work, it's the amount of cleanup, and then the amount of top coat to get that sealed so it's not so textured. It's so much work that really the price we charge, it's just not enough.
I agree.
You know, here's what we would call a Kiesel edition. So what that means is you're going to have at least a master grade top with a matching piece of wood for the back. Keep in mind, this is just dull right now. This hasn't been cleared or anything. It's very, very dull looking. It's going to have a hand-selected piece of wood for the body. Of course, the top and back I hand-selected as well. It's going to have a layer in between the top and the body. So there's a 5-piece body. It's got a custom 7-piece neck. This is flame maple, walnut, back to flame maple, back to walnut in the middle. The rear matching in the front. So what this particular customer wanted to do is he wanted an aqua candy with a blue burst And then on the back so the head plate is the same, and then on the back he wanted this color blue for the back and back of the head plate. He didn't want it bursted. Wow. This particular individual has a very high-end violin company. Makes super high-end stuff, goes to NAMM, showcases his stuff. He's selling violins for like the 8,000 and up range. Amazing stuff, amazing craftsman. And so it's cool to be able to build something like this for someone like that. So these are usually about a 2-year wait on my list. Then your name gets called. I don't take any money until I start. And those typically take me around a year. So it's like from the time someone says, hey, I'm interested, it's usually about 3 years. You can see like these just waiting, just all piled up, waiting. You know, we're busy, you know, and we kind of just look through here and got a neat looking areas here. And the ladies here in this department doing our prep work, they're amazing. They really are. To get the tape lines perfect. You know, I don't do the masking anymore. I used to do it. I don't do it. They are so good at it. Hi. They're so good. Just the attention to detail, getting everything perfect every time. So they'll do all my prep, and then I do a lot of work on guitars. And then, you know, afterwards they'll go off to the finish department. But it's fun. You know, I enjoy working on stuff, and it's pretty cool. Poplar top from the light to the just the dark blue, alder body. Just clean looking, you know, very beachy looking guitar.
Yeah.
You got that, like, look at that thing. Doing a lot of these, you know. That one's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
This is a really cool look that I really like a lot. I put a few of these same exact paint colors in. I said earlier I'd put an extra in. This exact scheme. So aqua, the aqua burst basically with an aqua binding and then a blue body. For me, I love the way this looks. I think this looks amazing. So I put a few of these extras through. So customers that like this look will be able to scoop these up. I think some abalone knobs on there. And you got yourself a winner. Bird's eye maple board. I think those are gonna be some badass looking guitars. So from time to time, I'll try to put some extras through just to, you know, people that don't wanna wait, we try to keep things going. That's kind of it. What you doing? What you looking at? Nice. So Daisy does all of our scheduling and just gets everything kind of figured out, like puts the timeline on the builds, whether I'm working on them or whatnot. We'll add time. And she's, you know, I tell her, don't hit me, Mom, don't hit me. She's like, get going on these builds. You got to get this stuff going. Or this okay. And actually, Daisy does all of my prep. When I said the ladies do all my prep, she actually does all my prep. So she came from that department. She's done a lot of different jobs here and now, you know, really helping out. Rob, why don't you come over here? Rob, how long have you been here?
Almost 41 years.
41 years. I'm only 44, and he's been here almost 41. That's pretty crazy. And we have a lot of people here that at the 20-year plus mark. A lot. Albert got hired in 95. So that's, you know, that's some time right there. You know, you start looking at the employees and how long they've been here and how good people get at their jobs. And Scott, oh yeah, Scott's over 30, like 35. Mm-hmm. Yeah. JD's over 20. Eduardo, yeah, he's been here.
A lot of long-term people.
Yeah, Carlos has been here a long time too. This guy's been here a long time too.
Yeah, yes.
That's my dad. That's the man, the myth, the legend.
Boy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, we have fun. We get to do some neat things and build some cool guitars for some cool people.
And he keeps adding a lot more models all the time.
I've been pretty good lately.
Which is cool. So.
I've been pretty good lately. We still have our NAMM booth that I don't know if we're ever going back to NAMM, but my dad's like, hey, can we get rid of this shit? I'm like, no, let's just hang on to it. You never know.
It's gotta go. We need room for other stuff.
We do need room for
all
other
these
stuff.
Special woods that we're bringing.
Yeah, we're bringing in a lot of special woods. He was up until about 2 years ago was doing all of our purchasing for the company, and we hired a full-time purchaser to take that responsibility, so he could, you know, just enjoy life a little more. And he's coming in 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and still comes in Saturdays. This is one of your days. Works from home a lot and stuff. So
When you guys used to go to the NAMM, people would ask on the podcast, why does Kiesel go to the NAMM? And I go, I don't know. I know they're the only one making money there, though.
yeah,
Because you were selling guitars. You know,
Yeah.
it was. I don't see why you would go now, but I think when you guys used to go, I think it was, cool. But I
Yeah, and
don't,
it was
I don't know if it's there anymore.
He kept getting too sick
Yeah.
after the last 2 NAMM shows.
yeah. I got real sick in 2020. I mean, maybe I was one of the first people with COVID. I don't know. We weren't testing down here, but a couple people that I had meetings with did test positive. I had long meetings in our sound booth. I probably was one of the first people with it. I haven't had it since that I'm aware of. Yeah, I got sick the last 2 years in a row. So 2019 and 2020, I got real sick from both shows. One time in 2019, I actually had to leave the show. I couldn't even do Saturday.
I remember
I had to leave. I got Friday night, we're out at dinner, and all of a sudden, I just felt really ill. I don't drink. At the time, I wasn't drinking. I wasn't, I don't do drugs or anything like that. So it was just all of a sudden, I just went from feeling good to like, I don't feel good. I have to go home. And my wife drove me home, and I slept for like a day and a half and just felt awful. So,
Well, the shows are pretty brutal on you,
Yeah.
especially the amount of people you meet.
yeah, I'd beat a lot of people, and
And it's noisy in there. People get right in your face so that they can hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
well, and
You're
too,
exchanging a lot of spit.
a lot of owners, would end up not in their booth.
Right.
They're hiding, they're doing whatever. I'm there, I'm meeting everybody. Hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? And I don't leave the booth. So I'd be there for everybody, take a picture with, talk to, whatever they want, I'd be hanging out for them. I wouldn't leave my own booth. I wouldn't walk around. I wouldn't even leave for lunch. 4 days.
It's pretty brutal. Well, I'll let you guys go on with it, okay?
All right. I don't know why you're going to shake my hand. Anyway, but yeah, it's fun. It's we have a good environment. Like everybody here gets along really good. I mean, we'll have them over and we'll have beers and stuff and get together after work, and we all like to watch. Not all of us, but a lot of us like to watch Formula One, and so they'll come over and watch Formula One together. Her husband's in the military, and so they'll come over and stuff, and it's a good time.
It's impressive. Like I said, one of the things I told you earlier, I've been to so many factories.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something unique about each one, something very common about each one, but no one is running that I know of, and I'm 30, you're number 36, I think, right? No one's running this much custom stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not even including the time frames and stuff. I mean, most places are taking 2 years.
Yeah, sure.
But like I said, this is a I'm looking around. People can't see me looking around. I'm looking around. It's a logistics nightmare, which is impressive that you guys pull it off, because, like you said, it's almost like you have to do every day. You guys have to start from scratch on every guitar.
Mm-hmm.
There is no like, oh, it's easy. We're just going to do 10 of these or run a 50 of those. One thing I looked for was I looked to see if there was like just the same ones popping up, but I don't even see that. They seem like they're all over the place.
They are, and with that custom virtual builder, the guitars have become so unique now. Before, what would happen is, before we had the builder, I would post something on my personal Instagram. People would be like, they'd call my guys, I want something just like that. So we would see a few of the same guitar pop through here because maybe I gave them an idea. Now, you got the virtual builder and you can see what it looks like. So, anybody that hasn't hopped over to our virtual builder needs to, just to take a look. And it's crazy. I mean, I'll look at auto manufacturers, high-end auto manufacturers. Like you look at Porsche and you go build a car on Porsche, their virtual builder sucks in comparison to what we do. I mean, our virtual builder kicks their ass. And they're a multi-billion-dollar-a-year company, and here we are, this small guitar company. Big, I guess, for custom, but still, in the big scheme of things, we're a small guitar company. 4,000 custom guitars a year. I mean, what does Fender and Gibson do in a day?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they do 500 in a day? Some of them?
They can't. Well, yeah, Fender could be 400 a day.
There you go.
Yeah.
So in 10 days, they do what we do in a year. In 2
Yeah.
weeks, they do what we do in a year. And you know, that's a different, it's a different product. It's a different use, and they make great stuff. I'm not knocking them. You know, you just look at what we do and how custom it is, and for the most part, you still get a 10-day trial period. There's some options you get that we're not going to let people return, but who does that? We're going to build you a guitar in this time frame with these amazing woods, these amazing hardware features, pickups, in a short period of time, and let you return it if you don't love it.
One of the cool things on your builder that you got when you guys redid the builder, right, that I love is you can save it and you can share it.
Yeah.
And I found that helped me a lot because you build it and then you're just, you know, you just don't know. You get the option paralysis.
Yeah.
But when I save it and share it, I can send it to somebody and have them, you know, one of my buddies will be like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like it."
Yeah, no, I
do
mean,
it.
and that's a thing, and we have eliminated a lot of things to stop people from doing things we can't do, you know, and that's where the builder has evolved. It's like, oh, well, we can't even do that. We shouldn't, you know, because it's hard with all the endless amounts of combinations. It's a very, very hard thing to get a handle on, and we've done a really good job. We do it all in-house. So and it continues to evolve, you know. I mean, we will add more options, not new options, but we'll add, well, not saying we'll never add new options. Of course, we're going to add them, but we're going to continue to add things to the builder that people would normally need to call in. Like one of our finishes that's really popular is Monster Burst or Reverse Monster Burst. Those are finishes I do. I want to add that to the builder at some point. So people will be able to order things like that online at some point. They still are non-returnable. Anything I do finish work on, we just make it non-returnable. I don't have, my time is so limited that I'm gonna work on something for you. I'm not gonna take it back and try to sell it to somebody else because chances are someone at that price point, $3,500 and up, one option's wrong, they're out. They're already spending $3,500. They're not gonna get one thing different than they want.
Right.
And that's what people don't understand is, well, the guitar is so beautiful, why would you say it's non-returnable? Shouldn't it be easy to sell? A lot of times the more expensive guitars are harder to sell because people are willing to wait, they want exactly what they want. It's the guitars that are more basic, like a black raw tone, even though we don't do returns on raw tone, that would be really easy to resell. You know, just because, you know, it's only so many things you're gonna add on a $2,000 guitar. I want you guys to meet my son. You met my dad. Here's my boy. Yeah, my little boy. Look at this guy. Yeah, look at this guy. Yeah, so Zach, still going to school, but doing some marketing for us, helping us. He's the reason why we started to stream on YouTube and got the good camera. So Zach was, hey Dad, let's step it up. You know what you're doing. We gotta, really bring a higher quality. And he's had some good ideas. He's even done his own little guitar run at one point when you were, what, 17?
Yeah,
17, yeah. So that was cool. But yeah, that's Zach. So,
yeah.
And Kayla, I don't know where she is. Is Kayla here?
She's at school.
Oh, she's at school. Okay. So they're both in college. So Zach's 23, Kayla's 22. So they're both in college, finishing up, and it's great having them. And they both love this business. They're both really into music. Kayla's more into country, Zach's into metal, so it's cool. Hopefully they take this and step it up to the next level someday.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we'll leave on that. That's a great note to leave on.
Yeah, we'll go get some lunch.
Thank you so much for the tour. This was very amazing.
Hey, no problem, of course.
All right, guys. Thank you. And I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to say know your gear at the end of the show, but you got to say, don't forget to call my guys. Sure.
Don't forget to call my guys, 858 Guitars, or log on kieselguitars.com.